Grad clip system consists of a mini rail, aluminum rail, that the clips are attached to. They won't slide up and down or fixed to this. It's very easy to trim these to length and get them on the wall very quickly. And they literally do just snap on just like that. So you can imagine how fast it's going to be to install a whole wall. This is Ipe wood. This is a sustainable project in South America. Ipe is the queen of hardwoods. We do a lot of different species, but we did this project in Ipe. There's no individual clips or individual screws to mess with. This will cut your install costs by 70%.
Next, we'll talk about the speed tube. We chose the speed tube because it helps with proper singulation and spacing as well, making sure the seeds drop down to the furrow. This belt turns with the speed of the tractor so that the seed is carried all the way to the trench in the furrow, and that it doesn't roll in the furrow. It's placed properly to the ground. It doesn't move.
Once you have dolly pole in your shoe, you're able to extract the dolly from the load. In putting this in your shoe, you lace it up through the piece first, then you slip it in the shoe, come up through the two eyelets, then go back down through the next two, and then cross it over in the center. You're done. It's in, and you're ready to go. This actually stops your hip and butt and leg from hurting just by the way you pull the dolly out from underneath the load. Instead of raising your toes up into it, you're raising a plastic unit that slides up on the axle, and then you tilt your load and pull it back. And all you're doing is pulling the weight of the dolly.
We start with bringing in botanically correct florals, things that are accurate to what you would find in nature. We're very particular about that at Red Door. And then we can work with a variety of different colors, or if there's a certain type of flower that you like, that you want to be included in the arrangement, Jane can work with that. We like to use a term here, drip. So as she's finishing this piece, you're going to see her using some flowers that drip over the side of the container.
And I would say if you want it faster, cut the meat up. You wouldn't have to marinate it quite as long. But our sample here that Rob made, and Rob, tell us what's in it.
So I put in, let's see, some lime, some cumin and some other spices, a little bit of salt and pepper, and olive oil and Worcestershire sauce. And I put that in this morning, so it's been going about 6 hours.
Well, you've got a great marinade here, and so what you want to look at the same, even though it's been marinated, you're going to look at the same effect of the grain cutting on the cross grain. Okay. So you can see the accordion, right? Yes. So you're going to go this way, and you can just cut. Now let me give you a couple little tips. When you're cutting, it is easier to cut raw meat like this. If it's slightly frozen, you can get it real thin if you want that. Okay. And then you can marinate it. But this is another technique where you marinate it first. It's a good idea to let this come just a little bit to room temperature. Don't cook it ice cold. It's not going to be as tender, and you have a better judgment of how long it's going to take to cook. And the oil that we're going to use today is an avocado oil, because it will be able to handle a high temperature. There's your sizzle right there. Sometimes butter, we know, burns. Even olive oil cannot go as high as avocado oil. So that's a new tip that I learned.
Okay, and avocado oil is high in monounsaturated fats, which are really good for us.
Real good for us, yeah. And it doesn't it doesn't add a flavor. So if you don't like avocados, you don't have to worry about that. If you were going to cook it as a steak, it would take obviously a little bit longer. But in this form, we're only looking at a minute or two.